closely with Oliver in the build-up to this exhibition. Oliver's determination to bring it to life has been inspiring, and I think his father Ben would be really, really proud. I would like to take this opportunity to wish Oliver every success here at Now Galleries and beyond. And I'd like to personally thank you all so much for coming. Honestly, it's been such an undertaking, so genuinely thank you so much. I'm now going to pass over to the Deputy Chair of the King's Foundation, Dame Anne Lynn, who's going to say a few words about Oliver. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Oliver. I met Oliver in January in Scotland. We were up at a place called Dumfries House in Ayrshire, and this is the headquarters of the King's Foundation. The King, as you will know, is a great lover of art himself. In fact, he recently had a portrait done by Jonathan Eo. Some of you may have seen that. But the King invited Oliver to be the first artist in residence at Dumfries House. And Oliver and I had dinner together with a few of the other trustees. We saw on his iPhone at that point some of his work, and we were absolutely bowled over, astounded, inspired by what we saw. I know Oliver had some time in the Dumfries House gardens, in the house itself. We provided some accommodation and a studio in which you could work, and that's very much what the King's Foundation wants to do, to encourage people with all kinds of creative ideas, all kinds of skills and talents from all backgrounds, to appreciate the value of art connecting people, places and planet. So it's a huge honour for me to be here. I'm terribly sorry it's not the King himself, Oliver, but you know, I definitely don't do an impersonation of the King. But it is very important to the King's Foundation that we have been able to have you as our first artist in residence. However, what you see before you today in the Now Galleries and what Sarah and team have put on the walls for you is both a tribute to Oliver's talent, but of course a connection to the work of his father. And when I was researching a little bit of the work of Ben, your father, I actually began to feel, I'm not sure whether I should be saying this, but I thought, well, I'm going to say it anyway. I felt a little bit ashamed that I didn't know more about his work as somebody who does appreciate art, just an ordinary kind of white British working class girl, which is what I am, who was taken to an art gallery in Manchester, age 16, and developed a love of art from that. But I was never shown the kind of art that came from anywhere, quite frankly, other than the United Kingdom and maybe America. Do you know what I mean? I was born in the 50s, because you can see I'm very old. But actually, the good thing about telling you that story is we live in a different world now. And I looked at the bronze sculpture that your father had done of Queen Elizabeth II, the late Queen. Marvellous piece, I'm sure. I can see where you get your talent and where you get your skill from, Oliver. But actually, what you have done, and we see it in these portraits and paintings here, is you've interpreted that from your lived experience in this 21st century, and you're bringing it to a wider audience. And in some ways, I think that's also helping people like me to connect to a world that most of you know much better than me. And that is the purpose of art, bridging the generations and bridging cultures, and sharing and learning, understanding through appreciation of beauty. So I'm bowled over by your work. I'm sure you all are. Oliver also is the most, as far as I'm concerned, his daughter might say something different because I've just met her, but he is the most gentle, thoughtful, intelligent, observant, beautiful human being. And, you know, the world needs more people like you who appreciate art, and more artists indeed, like I believe His Majesty the King is. So thank you for having me here, and I'll hand over to you, Oliver.
Say a few things. I want to just invite Chief Ben Enwonwu to say a few words as well. He's saying, Chief Enwonwu, he used to be he was once the former Commonwealth Secretary General. Chief Enwonwu, please.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my first words must be to thank Oliver for inviting me to this exhibition. I believe that the theme, the title of the exhibition is a very befitting one, a continued legacy. I say so because Oliver's father, late Professor Ben Enwonwu, undoubtedly one of the greatest artists to come from the continent of Africa, was a personal friend of mine. And he achieved a number of accolades. The late Queen, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, sat for Ben Enwonwu for the sculpture that adorned the square before the Nigerian Parliament. And also, Her Majesty sat for Ben Enwonwu a number of times for a portrait which I believe is now among the Queen's collections. And if I may add here, Ben Enwonwu painted the portrait of my wife in the early 70s, a portrait which he subsequently borrowed from us for his exhibition in Germany in the 80s. So Oliver is continuing the legacy of the great Professor Ben Enwonwu, but he's not only continuing the legacy, he's raising the legacy one notch higher. Because when you look at these portraits, these paintings, and you see the majestic strokes, the elegance, and a reflection, not a copy, but a reflection of Picasso's unfathomable depiction of womanhood. This, I was saying to Oliver, when I looked at the dates on a number of these portraits, 2024, I say he must have been working extremely hard for this year. Because last year I was at one of his exhibitions in Lagos at Michael Adenuga's Center. And to see these paintings all dated, virtually all of them dated 2024. And this is just 5 months in the year. I believe you've been working incredibly hard to produce all these. And I believe that you have many years ahead of you, and you will produce many more. Like your father, you will enter into the books of icons in the art world. I was very fortunate to be at the United Nations when one of the most remarkable sculptures that are done in the United Nations building is NNOM. You will see the picture there. I was fortunate enough to be a member of Nigeria's permanent delegation to the United Nations when Professor Ben Enwonwu presented, well, it was the Nigerian government that presented the Ben Enwonwu's sculpture to the United Nations. So I really would want to say to you, Oliver, please keep up what you're doing. And my last words would be to thank the sponsors of this exhibition. I was introduced to Oladapo Mudashiru, who is a founder of one of the galleries in Lagos, and I believe he's one of your sponsors. And there are many other sponsors who are here, whom I would like to say thank you to for helping to expose Oliver's works to the world. So, thank you very much.
A few words from some of our sponsors. I think Value Africa is here. Value Africa here. Being represented from First Bank. Value Africa, Daniel. Daniel, you want to say a few words?
Really, it's not really for me to say too much. I just want to say Value Africa is a company which imports products from Africa into the UK. We're really focused on supporting indigenous products. So some of the cocktails you're trying today are from different parts of Africa. We have Pedro's, which is a premium ogogoro, which is native to Nigeria. It's made from distilled palm wine. So you may know palm wine, but ogogoro is a distilled version. We also have Afro, which is a Ghanaian palm spirit, and that's your ginger margarita and your pineapple mojito. We also have a brand called Mania, which is a sparkling palm wine from sourced from Nigeria, made here, but looking to kind of take it back to Nigeria. Anyway, so it's not for me to say too much. Just I hope you enjoyed the drinks. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Are there any more sponsors? First Bank? Is First Bank here? Well, if they aren't, I'll just go straight to my vote of thanks. I'll just say a little bit about the exhibition. This very space, the Wall Galleries, is where my father had his last exhibition, retrospective exhibition, in 1985. And we thought it would be important, because this year marks the 30th anniversary of his passing, to continue that legacy from this very spot where he had his very last major retrospective exhibition. And that's what really informs the exhibition and the title, The Continuing Legacy, which I'm having a conversation with him and interpreting some of his most iconic pieces as well. Well, I'm not as eloquent as Dame and Lim, neither am I as eloquent as Chief American and local former Commonwealth Secretary General, but I'll just say a few words, and I have my already prepared speech there. All right? I would like to express my sincere gratitude to every one of you for taking the time to attend my exhibition, A Continued Legacy. Your presence and participation helped me to make it a memorable and engaging experience. I am truly humbled by the warm response and the positive feedback that I have received from everyone. I would like to say a big thank you to the Wall Galleries for their support, and Sarah has been absolutely wonderful. Members of her team aren't here, but they include Isabella French, and of course Addy. So I want to thank them for their support in facilitating this exhibition. I want to thank the King's Foundation, of course, represented by the Deputy Chair, Dane and Lim. I would like to also say a big thank you to our sponsors, the First Bank, Cesar Capital, UK, Ergo Power, Value Africa, Dynamic Portfolio, and Erdis. I would also want to say a big thank you to my business partner. He prefers to go by his firm, I've noticed him, he likes to present in the background, OM234, who is also here with his mother-in-law. The members of my family here, my sister is here, Neka. My daughter is here, Nicole. My big cousin is here, Victoria and his lovely wife, Sunshine. And of course, those who have loaned my father's work to the exhibition, who have collected pieces. We have Babatunde Duro, Labi Ogubi, who's here with his lovely wife, Helen. There's also Professor Coincide, who's also new to the exhibition. My landlord is here, Dr. Mike P. I don't know if he's here somewhere else, but I can't see him anymore. And some of my neighbors, Stephen and Jill. I think there was also Professor Grayson was here as well, was also my lovely neighbor. I just want to say a big thank you. And also some of my old schoolmates, and some of them I haven't seen in the last 30 years or so I'm happy they're here. They can make up for not seeing me, and they know how to make up. There's also my older brother, Benjamin, there he is there in the crowd. He's my oldest brother, he's here as well, so there's lots of family support. He's here, of course, with my niece Rachel, her brother Ethan, and her lovely son Raphael. So I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you for the opportunity to share my art with all of you. I hope you all enjoyed the exhibition as much as I've enjoyed creating it. And if I forgot anyone, I'm really sorry. Bello's here, Mohammed. And I look forward to sharing more of my work with you in the future. Thank you very much.